Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Big program lined up today. Nick Whalen on the program in 30 minutes. A look at Monday Night Football tonight. Warren Sharp on the program. Same with him. Glenn Clark in Baltimore will join us. We will get into the good, the bad, and the ugly today. We have I Don't Want to Overreact, but Pauly with Win Some, Lose Some in 45 minutes. And obviously we'll hit Week 4 numbers and a lot of reaction to yesterday's slate as well. Horrific beat, but we're going to begin with some of the big injuries, Pauly, stemming from the Week 3 weekend, one of which for the 49ers. Nick Bosa, it is confirmed now out for the year. They had their fingers crossed. From the reports I was reading yesterday during and after the game, they initially thought they avoided the worst-case scenario. Those reports were wrong. So now with the torn ACL, Nick Bosa, who is one of the best edge rushers / defenders in the entire sport, was like 9-1 to win Defensive Player of the Year, can have a big impact on almost any game that he plays in. Done. That stinks for the 49ers.
Every year, right? They can't avoid it. They can't get away from it. You somehow go 2-0 with your backup quarterback and Mac Jones, who was so bad and no one wanted. You make that work. The defense looked great. And then you get this news. So I know what you were concerned about in the preseason, about the attrition and everyone getting hurt. And it just wake up every Monday. Oh, this guy's out for the year. This guy's out 4 to 6. This guy's out for the year. But it's just with this particular team, it's every single year. And it's not just sometimes it can be cluster injuries, that's also happened. But it's their big name players. Bosa, Kittle, McCaffrey.
It's not the fringe guys.
Williams.
Purdy.
I mean, it's just absurd.
Sure. Sometimes it'll be the fringe guys on top of their star players.
Yeah.
And it's one right after another, like every single year with the 49ers. One betting thing to look at here is if the 49ers can win this division and somehow hang on with, down this many guys already, if they can win 11 games in that neighborhood, I'll tell you what, already you can see it coming. Kyle Shanahan is going to have to be in the mix for Coach of the Year. It's a patchwork group already.
That's going to be a good race, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Movement on Steichen. If Indiana Jones keeps this up.
No, I know.
How about my guy, Todd Bowles? 80-1 was available in some spots in the summer.
Well, that would be another one, right? Because how improbable is it that they're 3-0?
Yeah, they've trailed in the fourth quarter of every game.
And they've won, all 3 games by combined 6 points? Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yep.
And they're losing guys again. Mike Evans, I mean, the streak of 1,000 yards every year in his career, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, bad news coming there. Right?
Yeah.
That's a big injury. Could be lengthy.
But they will get Godwin back.
Uh-huh.
They will get Wirfs back on the O-line.
McMillan.
They will get McMillan back. So that's good. And, oh, by the way, they could, in theory, win that division by default.
And 1 seat's in play. Big game against Philly coming up. Can't wait.
Yeah, they're going to be up against it with all these injuries.
I don't know. I mean, Philly finally showed something in the second half with the passing attack. They had 33 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
They couldn't get Barkley going.
I'll expand on that coming up in a second. Also, CeeDee Lamb now, all the reports out there saying 3 to 4 weeks he's going to be out.
Mm-hmm.
They love running him on the reverse.
Tough assignment now.
I wonder if they're going to wipe that out of the playbook moving forward.
Well, he's not going to be the only guy that's out, too. I mean, Dallas has a plethora of injuries now. And then they just can't stop anything. I mean, it's just how bad is that defense?
Comical.
Caleb looked like a Hall of Famer. Oh, man.
All 4 of his touchdowns were at least 10 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Right? So, great game plan by Ben Johnson yesterday. Caleb capitalized here. So, let's say that he misses a month, CeeDee Lamb. It's Green Bay this week. That will not go well for Dallas. It's at the Jets in Week 5. They're at Carolina after that. And they play the Commanders on October 29th. That's their next 4 games. Those are some winnable games, though, even without CeeDee Lamb, I would think. But, Paul, long-term here, it doesn't matter because that team is not going to be a playoff team. And Uncle Lou Finocchiaro has to be smiling from ear to ear with his very strong stance in the summertime here on this program, saying everything under on the Cowboys this year.
Mm-hmm. And the press conference was comical after the Parsons trade when Jerry's saying we're a better team.
All right. So we've been doing this for a long time. I can't recall a beat worse than the Rams yesterday.
I think it's the worst all time.
I do too. I was racking my brain since the game ended, and this morning getting ready for the show as well. I can't think of a worse beat.
The Eagles had to hit like a 10 or 12 team parlay just in the second half. They're down 19 in the third quarter.
That's annihilation city.
It was, yeah. You're down 19 in the third quarter. You get booed off the field. You have 33 yards. You come all the way back, but then the Rams had 8 chances to put the game away and couldn't do it. Why is McVay throwing the ball 3rd and 1 every single time?
No idea.
And once you throw a bomb on 3rd and 1, then you're committed to run. They're going to run 4th and 1, and the defense knows what you're going to do.
Yep.
And they stuff the play. And then you block not 1 but 2 field goals. They somehow backed up inside their own 5, convert 3rd and 10 to Brown, which could have been picked at the very least, knocked down. He catches it. They convert 4th and goal and score a touchdown. And then you, again, have to block the field goal, and it has to bounce right up to the fat man, and a D lineman returns it.
And nobody can be even in the area for the Rams.
Yeah,
and then he
bring
houses
them down. And why would he even do that? Why not just fall on it and say we're good? Because you saw the TCU kid who had a pick 6 and he ran out of bounds. I mean,
I would say that in his position, what does he weigh?
Isn't he 300?
We'll call it 300 plus.
Yeah.
In his position, how many times in his career will he be in a spot to take it to the house like that?
Yeah, that I understand, but it's also the scenario where the big guy gets the touchdown, it pops right up to him. The other guy was probably just going to jump on it, but he falls down and then knocks the holder out of the way. It's like a 12-teamer occurred in a span of an hour for you to lose the Rams bet.
Yeah, that's 26-7 in the third quarter. Their win probability at that time was higher than 95%.
Correct.
So but to me, how did Devontae Adams drop that one in the end zone, by the way? They never showed a good replay. Like, did the defender actually get a hand on the ball? I never saw a clean, crisp replay on that. But here's why the Rams, Paul, they were the right side in that game for 59 minutes and 58 seconds.
Yeah.
And you can't cover.
They had the same probability as Green Bay. Denver was 89% too. All 3 of them lose.
Yeah, so this is why, and look, as someone on the Rams for the future tickets here that I have, like 1 seed would be nice. That game made me sick yesterday. Here's what happened with the Rams, and they have nobody to blame but themselves. Their drives. They had a 1st and 10 at the Philly 37, settled for a field goal. They had a 1st and goal at the Philly 6, settled for a field goal. They had a 1st and 10 at the Philly 22, settled for a field goal. They had a 1st and 10 at the Philly 36, another field goal. They had a 2nd and 4 at midfield, punt. They had a 2nd and 4 at the Philly 49 and a 3rd and 1 at the Philly 46, turnover on downs.
Yeah, there it was. Pass incomplete, run stuffed.
They had a 1st and 10 at the Philly 26, block field goal on 4th and 2. That's, what is that, 6-7 possessions?
Yeah. Why are you throwing bombs too, 3rd and 1?
Bingo.
Move the chains,
yes.
man.
You should have been up by, and this is not an exaggeration, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda, been up by 4 to 5 touchdowns in the entire game. They were killing Philadelphia.
Yep.
And the Eagles could do nothing on offense. Barkley, no chance. The passing game, non-existent. There's a reason why the champs got booed off the field during the game. And you could not cover plus 3.5. Mm-hmm. Here's how bad it is. A buddy of mine who used to gamble on sports and used to cover it like 20 years ago, gave it up, doesn't do it anymore, long time ago. He reached out to me after the game. I haven't heard from him from a gambling-related nugget in more than a decade. He goes, oh my God, where does that one rank up there all time? He's even paying attention and saw something like that and noticed how bad it was.
Yep.
And I just told him it's the worst that I don't want to be a prisoner. That's the worst I can remember.
Yeah, all that. Everything you ran down beautifully, yes. You can get a pick 6 in that situation. You would think driving. We've seen that. But to block the field goal, 300-pounder takes it back for the second time, and it bounces right up to him.
And nobody from the Rams even coming close to track him down or anything. He had a convoy.
9 defensive or special teams touchdowns yesterday, most since 2020.
Oh,
are you afraid to kick a field goal now?
Well, how many blocks did we have yesterday?
It's a jailbreak. Maybe these guys I don't know what, if it was just a fluke or what, but you're right. There was a ton of it. Happened bam, bam, bam. Cleveland, Jets, twice with the Eagles.
Yeah, twice.
Yes.
Not once, twice. And but this is why we love the sport, right? At the same time yesterday, you had Cleveland coming back or Green Bay blowing that game on the road. You had Pittsburgh and New England, which I don't know how the Patriots didn't cover that game, win the game outright.
No, turnovers, yeah.
Yeah, you had the Rams, Eagles. The Jets, Buccaneers was absolutely hammered drunk. And then Houston, Jacksonville. Nico, did anybody notice? Was anybody paying attention? They're going to win that game.
Yep.
Nico Collins has it inside what it was, the 15-yard line. Fumbles, Jacksonville ball. That's it.
Yep.
They lose.
Mm-hmm. I will say this, though. You could see the Packer thing coming.
Yeah, you could.
They wouldn't put them away. But all they had to do was run the ball 3 times and punt because Cleveland was not going to score a touchdown unless Green Bay handed it to them and Love handed it to them.
I agree.
They could have been there all day. Cleveland was not going to get a touchdown unless Green Bay gave them a gift, 1st and goal, and they gave him the gift. Just run the ball. And he makes a stupid decision. And then you're still going to win the game, and they block the field goal. And then the kid who misses week 1, of course, hits it from 55. Go figure.
Yeah, no doubt. So everybody wants to talk about the INT that Love threw as well. I get it. But this guy's now been a starter for 3 years in the league. On 3rd and 1 at the 44-yard line, I think it's the second to last play in the third quarter. Nothing's happening on this play. How does he take a 15-yard sack? Nobody's even close to him. Then that awesome rookie Schlesinger comes. Dude, you have 3 minutes to throw the ball out of bounds.
Yep.
And you just let him come and take you down like a wrecking ball? What are you doing, pal?
Yep.
Get rid of the ball.
Yep.
All right, really good Monday Night Football game to bet on tonight. Lions were great last week against the Bears, but teams in their spot are below 40% ATS over the last several games. We'll give you the details on that next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, for listening on Sirius XM Channel 158, or any of our great affiliates from coast to coast. On paper, we have a really good Monday Night Football game tonight. And Baltimore on the screen here, the odds screen, Pauly, pretty much 4.5 now everywhere. The total, look at this, up to 53.5 or 54. That's the number here at Circa. I have one bet on this game. I made it earlier today. Circa was offering 4 on Baltimore minus 115.
Ooh.
So I made that bet.
Yeah.
Well, you like the Lions?
No, I like Baltimore.
Yeah.
You got to take Baltimore on principle here.
I would agree. I did.
Yeah. Last year at home, the marquee games, right? Marquee games. Beat the Bills 35-10, the Broncos 41-10, the Steelers 34-17. 2 years ago. Beat Houston 25-9, Detroit 38-6, Seattle 37-3, Miami 56-19. You all know Lamar's 24-2 against the NFC, and they're 22-3 at home in primetime under Harbaugh. And Jackson's got ridiculous numbers going back on Monday night with the 22-0 touchdown INT ratio. I expect better performance from this defense, and I just think they're going to be able to get what they want offensively. They're too talented, too good. The best team in the NFL regular season. Don't trust them in January, but they have body bagged all these teams going back in these marquee games at home, and I think they do it again, and I just think it's too low tonight and too much respect for Detroit, who was dismantled and embarrassed week 1. But certainly you have to take week 2's performance with a grain of salt because the Bears can't stop anything.
Well, so I think we're kind of overreacting here to what they did against Chicago last week. The look ahead, I believe, was as high as 7 with Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then now they did not have a lot of yards against Cleveland in their week 2 win.
Yeah, Cleveland's that's a ridiculous defense.
I would agree, right?
Yeah.
So now because Detroit was awesome against potentially a really bad defense in Chicago, the number moved all the way down to as low as 4 earlier today. And they were also tremendous, in the air in that game. And Caleb Williams didn't do a lot either. But to your point, Pauly, they were absolutely eviscerated and did nothing on offense in week 1. As like a community here, did we forget about that game already? Like that happened, right? Mm-hmm. So now the total's 54. Again, like we said, Baltimore probably at the very top of the list in terms of overall offense and weapons in the entire league. We have to expect the Lions to go on the road here, Jared Goff to play well in a primetime game and match touchdowns with Baltimore for a 60-minute game.
Yeah.
Maybe he does, but I bet against that tonight. And I'll give you this as well. Steve Mackinnon has this at vsin.com. So 52 points, 8.8 yards per play against the Bears. he wrote that that type of effort doesn't tend to last in the NFL. Teams that have gained an explosive 8.75 yards per play or more in any given game have responded the next week by going 25, 22, and 1 straight up, but 17, 29, and 2 ATS in the last 48 games. That is a clip at 37%. And then when you're taking on a team like Baltimore, when they gain more than 6.75 yards per play in the first 2 weeks of the season, so then you're talking about a team that's really good offensively, like that's sustainable. Those teams are 20 and 8 straight up and ATS 71% since 2015. I don't think Detroit is going to be able to match Baltimore point for point tonight.
Yeah. The Joe Osborne recap of the last 6 regular season games and the points output, 41, 40, 35, 31, 34, 35. I mean, it's just been a sick run what they've done offensively with this group, and we know what happened in the Sunday night game, or they'd be 2-0. So you're going to have to score a ton of points here if you want to win the game, and I don't see that happening.
I agree. So I went back and looked today. Derrick Henry did nothing, to your point about to the Cleveland Browns defense last year. How good are they? Well, Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 23 yards a week ago. I looked at every game in Derrick Henry's career when he's held below 50 yards rushing. And I went back, and I'm going to count this from 2019 because there were times in there with Tennessee when DeMarco Murray was still there. He was still, whatever. So I went back and looked in 2019. In the game after he was held below 50 yards rushing, he has totaled in 13 games, 231 carries, 1,055 yards and 10 touchdowns. His median game is 18 carries for 88 yards and 1 touchdown. So that would put him over his rushing attempts prop for tonight by 1.5 and over his rushing yards prop tonight by 2.5 yards. And I also, from our buddy Tony, Point Shaver, he's been documenting this now for a while with Aaron Glenn, who was the DC in Detroit, and now the head coach with the Jets. Well, I'll tie both in here because mobile quarterbacks against Aaron Glenn teams have been dynamite. Baker Mayfield, yesterday, 4 carries, 44 yards against the Jets. Josh Allen, 6 for 59. We're talking mobile quarterbacks here against the Lions. And now this DC has been with Detroit and under Aaron Glenn for he's been there for 5 years. But he's only been the DC now for 2 games. Both games were a blowout, tough to gauge. But mobile quarterbacks against Detroit. Caleb Williams last week, 5 for 27. Going back to last year, Daniels in the playoffs, 16 carries, 51 yards. Caleb again, 6 for 34. Josh Allen, 11 for 68, 2 touchdowns. Anthony Richardson, 10 for 61. Kyler Murray, 5 for 45. Lamar had 5 for 36 and a touchdown in that 38-6 beatdown that you talked about. So Lamar Jackson tonight, I did see as low as 42.5 tonight. I guess the takeaway here is just to bet him over, but I haven't done that yet because that's obviously baked in as well. And Jackson is just like the elite quarterback, when it comes to running the football anyway in the entire league.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a high total.
I like that. It was a good write-up, too, about play his yards under passing, which this current number, he's gone under 8 of 10. From a wide receiver standpoint, I think Hopkins is too low. They love him. He's made some great catches.
A good point.
He should be able to get 20 yards. They're glowing reviews and reports about the guy.
How about the big catch that he had last week?
It's great. Yeah, he still has it. So I think they're going to take shots to him. And I wouldn't put you off Flowers either. I think it was Zach Cohen who talked about Bateman in his article today on vsin.com. But I really think Hopkins should be able to get that as well. And the big question is also, does Goff take off and run at any point? What is he, a half? Well,
half a yard.
He's half a yard. Will Goff take off and run from the other standpoint? Mm-hmm. So great game on paper, but that's what we thought 2 years ago. And it was 38-6 Ravens.
Do you remember the point spread in that game? I think Baltimore was 3, weren't they?
Was it that low?
I think it was. I think it was pretty low.
Okay.
And by the way, Lamar Jackson, primetime game. It did not go over with Mahomes last night. The longest rush of the game.
No, he got it, but they called it back.
I know. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Lamar is 16.5 tonight with various juice at different books.
Yeah, he's been going over. Mm-hmm. But that was shenanigans last night. Yeah, I think you got to play that too.
I wonder
he's too good.
What's the number here in this game if the games were reversed here for the Lions? Let's say they played the Bears in week 1 and they absolutely killed them and scored more than 50 points. And then last week they went to Lambeau and they lost 27, basically to 6. That touchdown was in garbage time, and they couldn't move the ball the entire time. Like, is the number 4.5 right now tonight? I really don't think it is. I think that this number is an overreaction. Now it's starting to come back on Baltimore's side. And I agree. If I lose, I lose. It's the NFL. I mean, it's tough to go 5% in this sport. As, by the way, the circa consensus picks are finding out 1-4 again this week.
Yeah, terrible. And the only winner, Chargers.
It never should have won.
Which again, no way. Denver couldn't put them away. It's right. You believe that? It's horrendous.
Well, if you're fading them so far, you're printing money.
Yeah. Something to follow and watch, no doubt.
So if we kind of agree on this, that the Rams' loss is pretty much as bad as it gets going back, we're talking NFL games here. Where do you rank Green Bay in Survivor to lose the game? Probably not as bad as Rams on the point spread, but my God. And I didn't have Green Bay, but I can feel the pain for anybody that did.
I know. You could see it coming, though. They couldn't put him away. They let him hang around. And then it's just that stupid throw on third down. Why even throw it? It's 3rd and 3. They can't move the ball on you.
Right. There's no reason for that.
They had one 50-yard rush. That's it. They weren't going to score a touchdown. And then the stupid block. And the kid hits from 55. That's just the whole thing's... 7 games decided in the last 2:30, by the way. It's madness. It's a coin flip, this freaking league.
Of course. By the way, our Sunday morning show, it's a lot of fun. We're on at 9 o'clock Eastern time here on VSiN. It's called the VSiN Pro Football Tailgate Show. Some of the nuggets that we get, that we bring up, that we might not have throughout the entire week, but then our guests as well. Like Warren Sharp comes on. He's going to be on in about an hour on the program. He had a beautiful, his analysis on Joe Flacco, longest pass completion, under 31.5 yards yesterday. Excellent analysis that came in.
Very good.
Yeah.
No fluff, no nonsense, actionable info. Great show. No BS, no grab ass. It's a lot of fun. And now we get to do it with games going on now coming up.
Yeah.
You can save 40% on our football season special with Follow the Money. Promo code FTM. Get pro access to everything we do through the Super Bowl. That's every best bet, every host, every guest, the leaderboard of the top experts, the betting splits, the 24/7 video, live breakdowns, the pro tools, betting systems, prop analyzer, 40% off today, code FTM. FTM, tell your friends.
Week 3 takeaways and player props tonight. Ravens, Lions, Nick Whalen joins the program coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll dive into the Monday night contest tonight. Ravens laying 4.5, most spots, total up to 54 now against the Lions. Really good game on paper. Nick Whalen joins the program now with Rotowire. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X at WHA1EN. Nick, good afternoon. I would start by asking you, saying thanks for the time, how you been, but I understand that you were on the Rams yesterday, so I probably can have a pretty good idea here of how you're doing today still.
Yeah, it's more of a condolences situation, I guess, than it is, how was your weekend or anything like that. My heart goes out to anyone else who was on the Rams, obviously a popular dog pick yesterday. And I think that's going to be the worst beat of the year. I really think it is. I'm sure something bizarre will happen, midway through the year that will rival this. But I was telling you guys off air, it never crossed my mind. Even though the Rams had just had a field goal blocked on their last possession, you're expecting a team coached by Sean McVay, especially, to adjust for that. And for that to happen on 2 consecutive possessions, it's one thing to block the field goal, right? As a Rams bettor, you don't necessarily care. If you're on the 3.5, the 4.5, you don't really care if they make that field goal. You don't care if they win straight up. You're just thinking, all right, just get this thing off and we're fine. It's one thing to block the field goal. It's another thing for the ball to ricochet 15 yards back, and then it's picked up by Jordan Davis, who unnecessarily ran that all the way to the end zone. Like, I don't really have a problem with that concept, but it just feels like teams in general, these last 5-10 years don't really do things like that anymore. You're so conservative. You're so worried about the worst case scenario. Everybody should be yelling to get down. Jordan Davis at no point considered getting down after picking up that ball.
Yeah.
Also, think about this. So it's only week 3. A lot can happen between now and the end of the season. These two teams are probably 2 of the best teams in the NFC. Yep. That's, Captain Obvious, hello. But what if this game is like week 13, 14, 15, and that's how it finishes with the same exact point spread with the 1 seed on the line. I mean, can you imagine the reaction to it then? Because we might forget about this between now and then, but that's what we're talking about here potentially.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point, and I think this will probably get lost in the shuffle, unless I guess the LA Rams, end up missing the playoffs by 1 game or something like that. I think this is something that will end up fading away, much like the Eagles who were 2-2 after 4 weeks last year, by the way. Remember, they took that really weird loss to Atlanta in week 2. They got blown out by the Buccaneers in week 4 and hit the gas after that. They haven't really lost since then. And outside of that Commanders game. And, these early season results tend to fade away. I think as long as both teams kind of reach the potential that we think they will. Like, I don't think this is something that's going to haunt the Rams the entire year. I don't think Green Bay is going to be haunted by that Cleveland loss. I think these teams are going to be just fine, but it absolutely matters when it comes down to the seeding conversation when we get to December.
All right, let's dive into tonight's Monday night game. It's been a struggle for Mark Andrews so far. He is on the bench in one of my bigger fantasy leagues this week, so I know it's probably going to happen. He'll 7 for 112 and 2 touchdowns. Are you betting it that way? Do you think he scores a touchdown tonight?
I think he could. I think this is a decent spot for Mark Andrews. Tight end has been just a bloodbath position so far, this season, especially if you're talking fantasy. I mean, we're really down to like 3, 4, maybe 5 tight ends you feel like have to be in your lineup every week. Otherwise, you're just spinning the wheel. And Mark Andrews, has been outside of that conversation. But anytime touchdown tonight, you can get that at plus 205 right now over at DraftKings. Lions play a ton of man defense. Mark Andrews traditionally has had a lot of success against those looks. He does have a couple of red zone targets this year. Baltimore's put up plenty of points these first 2 games, but it hasn't necessarily been the names that you'd expect, right? We're seeing a really high target rate, for some of the receivers. We've seen DeAndre Hopkins in the red zone, Zay Flowers, Tez Johnson, all these guys kind of coming out of nowhere. But I do think this is a spot where Mark Andrews could reassert himself. And they have Isaiah Likely probably coming back to this team next week. So if there's ever an opportunity for Mark Andrews to take advantage of, I think it has to be tonight.
All right, Amon-Ra St. Brown really popped last week when the Lions offense blew up. They scored 50-plus against the Bears. Love the guy. Do you think he has another big game tonight, and how do you want to approach that?
Yeah, I'm still kind of deciding how I want to approach St. Brown. And I think the anytime touchdown is what I've settled on here at plus 130. I don't mind the receptions. That's up to 6.5 at some books. The yardage is a little bit unpalatable, but I just look at the red zone targets already this season for Amon-Ra St. Brown. 6 targets in the red zone. That's second among all wide receivers in the NFL. And, 30 of 32 teams have played 3 games already. And Amon-Ra St. Brown still second in the league. So I think that volume will be there tonight for Detroit. The running game, it's been fine. Obviously, it looked much better last week than it did in week 1, but I don't think it's quite at that elite level that it was last season. So I think we will see some more reliance on that passing game throughout the night and especially in the red zone.
What are you thinking Lions team total?
Yeah, this is one I really like, guys. Lions team total at 23.5. I like the over here. This number is hit in 16 of the last 20 games for the Detroit Lions, including the playoffs. That dates back to the start of last season. And look, I think the Lions that we saw in week 2 are closer to the true version of the Lions. It's probably somewhere in between week 1 and week 2, but I think it kind of took this offense a week to wake up. They're always hunting big plays. I think you can get those against the Baltimore defense, which has a lot of names, but gives up more big plays than it should. That secondary still a little bit shaky. We, of course, saw the Bills pile up a ton of points, a ton of yards on this defense in week 1. And guys, even the Cleveland Browns put up 323 yards of offense on the Ravens in week 2, 4.5 yards per play. They outgained the Ravens in that game. Baltimore also down Matabike. They're down Kyle Van Noy, a couple key pieces on that defense. So even if the Lions end up losing this game, I like them to go over that 23.5 team total.
All right, very good. So you're expecting a good game tonight, then, the way it sounds. You can follow Nick on X. He's at WHA, the number 1 EN, and he is with Rotowire. He joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Thanks for the time today, Nick. Best of luck with the bets tonight. Enjoy it, okay?
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Be good. There you go. He joined us every single Monday night, talking Monday Night Football overall. Over 23.5 is the number that he bet with the Lions team total.
What are your concerns of Goff?
So that's...
It's outside, but it's not going to be cold, and it's...
I'm glad you asked.
Elements are going to be fine, so...
Can we say that problem is behind him?
No.
Let me point this out. I should have pointed this out and then asked you. The 27-13 loss at Green Bay in week 1. That was vile and nasty. Did not go well first game without Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm. They won at Green Bay 24-14 last year. They won at Chicago 34-17 last year. They won at San Francisco, down a lot of guys, 40-34. If you go back to 2023, a couple of losses, 28-13 at Chicago, 38-6 at Baltimore. But he won 34-20 at Green Bay. I think that was the game Matt LaFleur was crying at halftime. They won at Tampa 20-6, and they started the year 21-20 victors over Kansas City on the road.
Yeah, it's more so weather-related. Cold. More going back to the Rams, though, also.
Yeah, that's the thing, I think, right?
One. Yeah.
So I think if...
There was a dog performance in Chicago when it was freezing, and he just had some...
I think that might have been that 28-13 game.
Mm-hmm. But here, yeah, shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Gibbs receiving, very popular, too. I mean, I think Gibbs should be able to go over his receiving prop and get that, which is which is low. 25 seems low, especially how many times they're going to throw to him.
Sure. You need a loss here by the Lions. Because this is one, I think, because you bet them under 10.5.
Yeah.
And when you were looking at the schedule, I think that this one, you would put a check mark next to Baltimore, probably saying that's more than likely going to be a loss tonight. And one of the reasons why I want to take, the under here.
Well, big one, too. I mean, the Ravens, I know it's a mess with that division now. Pittsburgh somehow won, didn't play well. Rodgers had 140 yards. Bengals embarrassed themselves. Could be 0-3. And you lose your quarterback. But you go to Kansas City next week, too. Now, you should win. But still, there's some tough games coming up. You don't want to look up and, break here, break there. Suddenly you're 1-3.
Okay. So here's one thing I would look at, too. If the Ravens lose the game tonight, one of the first things I would look at either late tonight or tomorrow morning is Baltimore to win the division. And then if they were to go to Kansas City and lose again to go to 1-3 under your scenario there, I'd bet them again to win the division. Mm-hmm. Who's good?
Steelers are not good.
Steelers, I think there's a good chance the Steelers stink.
Yeah. 5 turnovers. Stevenson, and what happened?
Zero business winning that game.
Yep.
The Browns, I wish they were good because it's like...
Oh, they're going to waste this defense.
Again.
It's so good.
How many years are we going to talk about this?
Uh-huh. There's a fun prop up at DraftKings, over or under 2.5 quarterbacks used this year. And Dion came out today and says he thinks Shedeur will get a start, so...
Oh, I would... So...
I don't know when.
I mean, that would start.
Yeah.
Because Gabriel...
3 different guys have to start.
Oh, I'd bet the over on that.
Get that, yes. Keep the tweets coming. And email ftm@vsin.com. Randy McKay with a good one. Josh Rosen back to throw a Hail Mary. Down one, what was it, down 1 or 2? I was on Stanford in this game. He fumbled, scoop and score the other way. They picked it up and ran it in.
So, for UCLA.
UCLA Stanford, some of the bad beats and what happened, but that's, some of the responses are ridiculous. One guy brought up the Colts game against that. The guy missed the field goal. They called a penalty. Okay, that happens all the time. Yeah. They're up 19 in the third quarter, getting 3.5 with a 96% win probability, and several conversions, 3rd and 10, 4th and goal. 2 blocks, 3rd and 1, can't get it. 3rd and 1, can't get it. 4th and 1, can't get it.
Well, here's
ridiculous
the thing.
What happened.
If you want to,
15 different things had to happen for the Rams to lose and not cover.
Right. If you wanted to expand into college football, into soccer or baseball, sure. But if we're talking regular season of the NFL, that's as bad as it gets.
Yes. I mean, to me, you can't top it.
And if you watch the game, they were obviously the better team, by far and away the better team.
33 yards at halftime for the Eagles.
Yeah, for 2.5 quarters.
Couldn't put them away. Had every opportunity.
All right, Paul's going to recap a lot of what happened yesterday in Win Some, Lose Some coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Before we get off the air Sunday mornings, we always run down these fun props. And most points at DraftKings, they only go by Sunday games. The Vikings, 30-1. 2 defensive touchdowns. Hello! Jordan Mason with 100 yards and 2 scores. Wentz looked good. Cincinnati did not. That was over early. School was out. How about that ticket? Highest scoring game. Raiders, Commanders, 25-1.
The action would not stop in that game.
No. Big plays all over.
Oh, I mean, Trey Tucker, I know somebody who had 2 touchdowns at 40-1.
Really? He had most receiving. I didn't even see him.
Oh, Oh, was it? He led?
Yeah.
Oh, mama. Like, did any book offer
I
three
didn't-
touchdowns on him?
Oh, God. Forget it. Fewest points, the Atlanta Falcons. PU, what stinks?
Okay, Pauly, I'm sorry. I got to ask the question. Do they go to Cousins?
Oh, no.
Penix was awful.
How about...
I want to say again.
I know. How about their luck? Parker Romo's automatic. They give him a 2-year deal and cut Koo, and he misses 2 field goals right away.
Sure.
And he wasn't even close on one of them. Lowest scoring game, Packers-Browns 10-1. It should have been a shutout.
How did we not bet that?
Yeah.
How did we not?
Yeah, it was easy. First team to score, Colts 10-1. Pick 6 right off the bat. More on that coming up. Most passing yards, Caleb Williams 15-1. Most rushing yards, Jordan Mason 12-1. Trey Tucker most receiving. Anyone?
Unlisted, maybe? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it. That's a deep dive, deep cut, like Drew Sample. Anytime touchdown, 22-1. Fitzpatrick for the Packers, 18-1. Oliver for the Vikings, 10-1. First of the game, 50-1. Weston had it. Guy in the cornfields, incredible. Colts defense, first touchdown of the game, 220-1 at FanDuel. Crazy.
Would you even think about betting that number?
No,
I wouldn't either.
no.
Like if it was 500-1 or more, I'd be like, okay, that's
Yeah,
intriguing to me.
Yeah. College, big upset. San Diego 3-1. San Diego State plus 450. How about getting 2 touchdowns and winning by 34?
Can you explain that?
I know. Cal was rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
Syracuse 6-1.
I can explain that one.
Yeah, he stinks.
He's awful.
Dabo stinks. Memphis plus 230. Not so much the number, but they were down big in that game and beat Arkansas. Mitch will get to this coming up. There's a great tweet about this. Maryland plus 330. Dominated Wisconsin.
Never a sweat. How often do you have, well, actually, a bunch of these on the list when you're going to have a big
Get that
dog to
right.
win outright, and it's never even a sweat?
Hello. Brad Powers on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Jason Candle at Toledo did it again. Western Michigan 4-1. Toledo was a double-digit favorite.
He had alarming numbers whenever they're in that spot.
I retweeted them. It's up there at Pauly Howard. There was 4th and 10, and they threw a bomb with like a minute left, and they punched it in, went for 2, and got it. Ridiculous. Couldn't score more than 13 points. Tulsa 4-1. Gundy says he's sticking around. Well, we'll see. That was another bad performance. Coastal Carolina 5-1 on the money line. And it happened Sunday morning. At the Westgate down the street, Asia Wilson, MVP, was 100-1 on August 7th. And a viewer had her at 50. Another viewer had her at 60. Jeff Sherman, who is the basketball guru over there, was aggressive moving it. And that was a huge result and winner for him, as it was nothing but Caitlin Clark and Collier money.
Well,
100-1 August 7th.
If you go
she
back
won the MVP.
on the timeline, remember, I think they got blown out by the Lynx their first game in August.
It was the worst home loss in the WNBA history.
Yeah, but like 50 points.
Yeah.
There was no reason to think that she would, ever get into consideration here.
No.
It was Collier's award. That
No.
cost me a couple of cross-sport parlays, by the way.
Oh. Yep. I can't believe it. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. It happened again. South Point. Tip of the strip. Pygao progressive hit again. 7-card straight flush. Hello, Joker. 224,000. That's your big boy.
Now,
I like the blimp shot here from up above, eye in the sky. I've never seen. That's a good, unique perspective and view. That is sexy.
you'll know this, I think, Pauly.
Ooh.
Right, when VSiN was located over at the South Point in the early years, is it my imagination or does the Pygao progressive pop there a lot?
It happens a lot. It happened once back-to-back nights.
That's right.
So for that to get that high, I know. And the locals love it. And that's incredible. How about this? We mentioned this, Brian Blessing, our old friend who passed away with one of the best calls of all time, because we were going to say, I'll get to Vasgersian later. Here's a ticket at the South Point when Brian Blessing said, I'm telling you guys, down 0-3 in the first round, if the Kings win Game 4, they'll win the Stanley Cup. And there's a guy, he only got 65-1 on it, but there's the ticket to back it up.
Kept the photo of it.
There it is. Well, rest in peace. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. I got to give you a shout-out coming up. Bad for the books. No, excuse me, lose some. Wisconsin from 7 up to 11, not even close. Nebraska did it again. 28 straight losses against ranked opponents. Make it end. How do you lose these games every single time?
Yeah.
Atlanta 2.5 up to 5. Raiders Commanders under 50 down to 44. Mariota was great. Steelers Patriots over 40 up to 44. Dallas Chicago over. Should have gone over. Shenanigans. 46 up to 50. One lose some here. Actually, this is creative. The prank that this waitress pulls on people at the restaurant, she has her tray out, taking the orders, and like she's going to deliver a beer, but it's on a string. So when it falls over, everyone thinks it's going to fall in their lap. And she goes, no, I got it the whole time. And this is the prank she pulls all the time. It's incredible. I love the compilation. I got to put that. Send that to me, Luke. That's great. You like it?
Yeah, I do. I'm a fan.
Yeah, right? Are you? Look, everyone's freaking out. And their reaction, I got you. It's on a string. The beer's not going to fall on you. Bad for the book. San Diego, 13.5 down to 7.5. Outright. Missouri, South Carolina over 46 up to 49.5. Fell 49. Florida State opened 39.5 here at Circa. Up to 46.5. Pounded Kent State. North Texas +2 to -2.5. Won in overtime. Central Florida opened small here at Circa. Closed 7. They beat Belichick. Tennessee UAB over 65 up to 70. USF 30 up to 36, no problem. The Colts from 2 up to 6. Ice cream. Here they are. Come get them. Your bad beats. We've been through it with the Rams. An all-timer. Georgia Tech lane 24. Temple scored on the final play.
Yeah.
Go home. Knock it off. Game's over. Thanks to everyone who sent this in. If I missed any, let me know. I'm one guy. There's a lot of action. Nevada +8.5. In less than a minute, they score. Western Kentucky returned the onside kick. Guy didn't fall down. He housed it. The cover. TCU, SMU over. Interception in the end zone, but then the kid's got the pick six. He ran out of bounds.
Well, that game probably should have gone over the total 10 different times.
Michigan first half. Nebraska Hail Mary.
Yeah, good call.
Game 2 of a doubleheader. Twins Guardians first 5 under. No score in the 5th. Nope. A 6 spot for Cleveland. And you tweeted this. Texas and Miami under 1-1 in the 9th. Nope. It explodes, goes to extra innings. You know what's going to happen there. It doesn't end before the line moves. Sharp plays already there. They don't just follow the market. They help move it. Powered by advanced AI, plug into trusted insider sources. Sharp Plays delivers the edge serious bettors use every day. Free reports, alerts, market-moving insights straight to your inbox or X-Feed. He's at it again. He put up Mr. Poison, who had a bad Sunday in the NFL. The Fade Brigade is back. He's been at it since 2011. Been with Follow the Money since day one. Documented results, public logs, transparent receipts, sharpplays.com. Watched by the books and trusted by the pros, sharpplays.com.
So the Niners and the Buccaneers are going to be like the Lions from last year or the Niners from previous years? What do you think about that? The Lions were the nuts last year. They won 15 games, home field.
Right.
But they had, I don't even remember how many injuries they had. It was like 30 plus on defense.
On the defense, yeah.
And the Buccaneers are trending that way, and the Niners are just like we got one email from a lifelong 49ers fan who said that he's fed up with it. Well,
what can you do?
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's not the organization's fault. It's just horrible luck.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, for Bosa to be the last guy to go down for the entire year.
They're getting guys back, though, but that's...
Well, no, same thing with the Buccaneers.
Yes.
But it's kind of weird the way it works, though, where you're going to find at least one team, if not multiple teams every year, where it doesn't stop.
If you keep winning, though, you can also make a trade.
You could do that.
Go get someone. Someone will fall out of contention.
That's part of the NFL I hate, though.
Pick, yeah.
I want to see more in-season trades.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you think you're close and there's a guy out there...
I don't know what it is. I was talking to David Baker. I thought he made an excellent point that why are all these old linemen getting hurt? Are the D linemen just that physical and athletic, or is it you're not practicing that much anymore? We are losing offensive linemen at an alarming rate.
Right.
It's never happened before.
And we already have a lot of bad offensive lines in football.
That's right, yeah.
All right, we're going to start to dive into Week 4 numbers of the National Football League coming up next. Again, 5 turnovers, couldn't score more points. And we have a new favorite in one of the primetime games. Find out which one that is on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.